Could you spend few words more on what you're doing at SALT, in particular within the art field?
What we do in the art field here is we are, let's say, a research institution. Some of this research you see, some of this you don't, and we are an archive institution. So that's an important aspect of what we do. Is we have probably the most complicated archives in the country in terms of going deep in certain fields, especially on the work of certain artists who started their practice in the early 70s or at the end of the 60s. Mm-hmm. So more or less, this has been our kind of cutting, our timeline so far. We may go a bit further back. This is going to happen in the near future. But so far, what we've done is from the 70s onwards. Mm-hmm. And as an example, there was an artist who was completely forgotten here, Ismail Saray. Nobody remembered him, and because he left art practice in the 90s, mm-hmm. and he was in London, so he was like doubly removed from Turkey. And we did a kind of a retrospective on him, and that took like 3 years to put together all the objects, data, stories, everything. So that was from scratch. And then we are going to do a publication on him. We did 2 exhibitions. There may be some kind of project outside the country very soon. In London, I think. So we're negotiating with some institutions to have a reimagination of that project there. And then we did a project on the 70s, mid to late 70s, on artists in the political context, before the coup d'etat. Mm-hmm. So that was also a research project with 2 publications. And we do publications usually after the projects. We never do catalogs. We never publish anything. We did at the beginning once, but we had the material already. We never publish anything before something happens. It's usually a year or 2 years later. We like to. We don't work in this kind of new capitalist way. We don't like this kind of experience economy. We like to unfold projects over time when they become absolutely almost kind of boring, mm-hmm. because that exciting moment is finished. Mm-hmm. We do it after that exciting moment. It's kind of a purposeful way of approaching projects so that the lifetime and lifespan of projects are much longer.
Mm-hmm. It's another approach to time.
Yeah, because we are neurophiliacs. We like to do a show and go to the next one. We try to undo that ideology in the way we work. So that's very important. And now we're working on the 1980s. That will be an exhibition up during the Biennial time. Mm-hmm. It's part of the Internazionale projects, so kind of to look at the period between the birth of neoliberalism in 1989. Mm-hmm. In Turkey, it corresponds, of course, to the dictatorship in 1980, and then in neoliberal economic policy, and we'll take it to 93 or so and look at the changes in the society, major changes, of course, and the art world. Urbanistic transformations, all that. And it's kind of how we work. There's always like 1 or 2 research-based projects each year, and the rest are faster projects. Then we do normal exhibitions as well. With the art community, we're kind of the memory institution for them. We try to take something from the past and kind of push it forward, and look at that past. Try to look at that past much more critically. And more or less, there's like a retrospective a year. 1 year, it's like a person from outside the country. So we work with Hassan Khan from Egypt. It's retrospective. We did the biggest show probably ever of Akram Zatari. It was pseudo retrospective, Akram, and then with Rabbi Mroueh. These were all artists from the region. That's also important for us. As when we're in Istanbul, we'd like to believe that we are part of a larger region, and we like to think of everything we do, the art world as well, as a kind of an interface between a imagined public and something. I mean, we're not. So it's not an object-based institution. You know, objects are not in the center of what we do. It's archives and discussions and other things.